Parasite Eve follows the story of Aya Brea, a New York City police officer who becomes embroiled in a supernatural and biological crisis. Mitochondria in the cells of humans and other organisms have evolved into sentient and dangerous entities, leading to bizarre mutations, supernatural powers, and monstrous creatures. Aya must defeat a being named Eve who is trying to wipe out the human race through spontaneous human combustion. Hey guys, welcome to the J-Chip Show. My name is J-Chip and today I get to review Parasite Eve, one of my favorite PS1 games. This was requested by my good buddy Ash the Man. Starting with the positives, the storyline for Parasite Eve is amazing. It's gripping, it keeps you engaged, and I really liked the mystery surrounding the mitochondria outbreak and Aya's connection to it. And the build up to that I think was really well done. I also like the chemistry that Aya and Eve have. Every time these two are on screen, I'm always engaged and I'm always interested to hear what each has to say to each other. Not only is the chemistry between Aya and Eve really interesting, I like the chemistry with Aya and her good buddy Daniel and Maeda. I felt like these three have good chemistry with each other, and Maeda and Daniel have their own storylines that are really interesting. So Parasite Eve is not only a survival horror game, it is a JRPG. So you're going to be running around New York City, getting into random battles with mutated creatures, beating them, getting experience points, and leveling up. For the most part, Parasite Eve is a turn-based RPG, but what you can do is you can move around and you can dodge the enemy. Now you have an active time bar, and that's very similar to Final Fantasy's active time system, where you have to wait until that meteor is up before you can fight or do your magic or anything like that. I actually really like this battle system because it gives me more strategy. Not only do I have to worry about defeating my enemy, I also have to worry about dodging my enemy. Sometimes that can be easier said than done. Sometimes the enemies are just too big and they'll smack you around. Sometimes they'll poison you and they'll put some sort of status effect that'll hinder your ability to take them out. But at least for the most part, it does take skill to defeat the enemies. The soundtrack in Parasite Eve is phenomenal. I really like the mix between opera and techno, and I think it works very well. But there's also a lot of songs in this game that really give you the chills, and it really adds to the dark and atmospheric environments this game has. Now graphically, I think this game still holds up. Now I understand a lot of people may look at this game as ugly or maybe dated, but in my opinion I think this game still looks really good. It's on par with games like Final Fantasy VIII, and in my opinion Final Fantasy VIII was a pretty good looking game, especially those FMV cutscenes. If I had any negatives for this game, it would have to be the slow pacing. Whenever you're moving around an area, it just feels like Aya is just very slow at moving, and sometimes it can be pretty boring, and there are some cutscenes that kind of just drag on. Sure, the story is very interesting, but I could see some people just being bored with it. However, despite that, I think Parasite Eve is a phenomenal game. It has an amazing storyline with amazing characters, and is definitely one of the best RPGs on the PlayStation 1, at least in my opinion. If you haven't played this game, I highly recommend you do so. And you can play this game originally on the PS1 if you're willing to fork over a lot of cash, but you can also play this game on the PS3 with the PlayStation Store, at least get that before it gets knocked down, but also you can emulate it however you want. So any way you can, I highly recommend you check out Parasite Eve. It is a phenomenal game. Anyways guys, that's going to be it for me. Hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know down below what you thought of Parasite Eve, and also let me know what you thought of Parasite Eve 2 and Third Birthday. I would really like to know. Big thanks to Miasma Senpai, Warpbait, and Ash the Man for supporting me on Patreon. You guys are awesome.